What's up, Algebra 1? Let's go ahead and jump into this lesson here. It's Unit 7, Assignment 2, grouping symbols, okay? So you're going to see some problems where you've got these binomials that have these grouping symbols around them, okay? So how will we subtract 5x minus 3 from negative 4x plus 7. So we've been doing the vertical method. Let's try the horizontal method. So I'm just going to write this. Okay, so we're going to have 5x minus 3 in parentheses. Actually, scratch that. We're subtracting this from this. So it's actually negative 4x plus 7 minus 5x minus 3. Okay, so we're subtracting this from this. Okay, so the way we get rid of these parentheses is pretty simple. Imagine here, remember, with parentheses, that means this whole thing, both terms, this binomial inside these parentheses, we can put a 1, an understood coefficient of 1 out here. So this is like 1 times this, and we can distribute that 1. And when you do, you end up just getting the same thing. Okay, so you get negative 4x plus 7. Simple, right? But now we come over here, and we're going to put a 1 right here. Remember, this has an understood coefficient of 1, but actually this becomes, because of this negative sign, it becomes a negative 1. So we're going to distribute this negative 1 to the 5x, and then also to the negative 3, right? Okay, and what do we get? We get negative 5x plus 3. Negative 1 times negative 3 gives you positive 3. Okay, so now just combine the like terms. Negative 4x minus 5x leaves you with negative 9x. So we've combined those. Okay, and then 7 plus 3 gives you 10. Okay, so there's that one. All right, so I'm going to do like 5 examples, and they're going to get progressively more difficult. Okay, again, this one's not too bad. I'm going to rewrite it down here a little bit bigger. So we have negative k plus 3 plus k plus 2. So what we want to do with these grouping symbols, we want to remove the grouping symbol by distributing. Okay, this one, remember, there's an understood coefficient of 1. Just like when you have the variable a, that's the same as saying 1a. Remember that? Same applies here. So when I write the coefficient of 1, it actually, you see, it actually becomes negative 1 because there was already a negative sign there. So we distribute the negative 1 to the k, and it gives us negative k. We distribute the negative 1 to the positive 3, it gives us negative 3. And then if we have a 1 here, and you're going to get it to eventually when you're going to, it's just, you'll get faster at this, but you'll see that whenever there's a positive in front of this parentheses and we put our 1 there, actually nothing changes here. So we can just, it's just going to be plus k, positive k, plus 2, okay? So what ends up happening here? We have a negative k and a positive k, so those cancel out. And then we have a negative 3 plus 2, and that leaves us with negative 1, and that's our answer. Okay? All right, next example. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, so remember, we want to get rid of all of our grouping symbols. So I'm going to just do that step by step. All right, so if we have a understood coefficient of 1, what do we get when we distribute this 1 to both terms of this binomial? Well, we just get the same thing. It ends up being 5n squared plus 2. Okay, what ends up happening if we distribute this positive 1 to these? Same thing. Nothing changes here because we're multiplying everything by positive 1. So you still have negative 3n squared minus 5. Okay, all right, now when we distribute this right here. So we have negative 1 times negative 4n squared gives us positive 4n squared. And negative 1 times positive 7 gives us negative 7. Okay, now combine like terms. All right, we have a 5n squared and a negative 3n squared. So that's 5n squared minus 3n squared gives us 2n squared, right? 2n squared plus 4n squared gives us 6n squared, correct? So 5 minus 3 gives us 2, 2n squared plus 4n squared, so we have 6n squared. So I'm just going to mark these off because we have combined those already, right? Okay, so we have 2 and a negative 5, so 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. And there's your simplified answer right there. Okay. I think there's just 2 more. Now, these are your favorite ones right here. Whoops, that one's upside down. These are your favorites. You remember these? I've introduced you to these before. So with these, notice we've got more than one grouping symbol. We actually have 3. We have whatever this is called right here. A squiggly bracket, a regular bracket, and a parentheses. So remember, we're going to start off, we're going to work from the inside out, right? So I'm going to start right here. Okay, so there's a negative 1 there. All right, I'm going to distribute that negative 1 to every term inside in this trinomial. So it's going to give me, I'm going to rewrite it right here, okay? It's going to give me negative a plus 2b plus c. Okay, so I just removed those parentheses right there by distributing that negative 1. Now, I still have this positive c here. I still have this parentheses here. So I still have 3b minus 2c. We haven't dealt with that yet. And I still have a minus that. And that's still inside the bracket. Okay, so now what do I need to do next? Yep, we need to get rid of this parentheses now. So remember, there's a one there. So this gives me, so I'm going to go ahead and bring down this. I'm going to bring this, everything else down here. All right, so we're still going to have this a. We're not dealing with that a yet. So we're just going to go ahead and distribute. That's going to give me negative 3b positive 2c, right? Negative 1 times negative 2c, positive 2c, plus c. So notice we got that positive 2c there. Is that easy to see? Okay, sorry. Continuing on here. Minus a plus 2b plus c. All right. So we're just progressively removing the grouping symbol starting from the inside and working our way out. Okay, now we need to distribute. Okay, so before you start doing anything here, before you start combining these like terms, we need to, because all of this is still inside this. Okay, so let's rewrite it. Okay, we're still going to have our squiggly bracket. All right, so that's going to be negative a, positive 3b. So we're going here to here, and then here to here, and then here to here, and then here to here, and so on. So negative 1 times a gives us negative a. Negative 1 times negative 3b gives us positive 3b. Negative 1 times positive 2c gives us negative 2c. Negative 1 times c gives us negative c. Negative 1 times negative a gives us positive a. Negative 1 times negative 2b gives us negative 2b. And negative 1 times positive c gives us negative c. Do you see? Huh. Sorry. I just can't resist. All right, so now we've removed these brackets. So now we're just left with that. Okay? All right. So check it out. The only thing that's left to distribute is a positive 1 out here, which actually doesn't change anything here. Do you see that? Now, if there was a negative sign out here, we would put that 1 there, and then we would have to distribute the negative 1, which would effectively change every sign. But that's not going to happen here because there is actually, hang on a second, let me look at the original problem. You know what? We forgot to include that, which is okay. But actually there is a negative right there. So in our original problem, which I forgot to include this a minus, so don't make that mistake. It actually is not going to hurt us, but it is going to add one more step here. We've got this negative 1 right here, okay? If you can tell, that's a negative 1 right there. That's a negative 1 right there, okay? So we're going to distribute this negative 1. So it's going to be negative 5b, positive a, negative 3b, positive 2c, positive c, negative a, positive 2b, and positive c. So now we have, so we've distributed this negative 1, and we still have this a that comes right there. Okay. By the way, this is I think I picked, this is number 8. I think this is the most complicated one. So if you can hang with me on this one, you can do any of them. Now we've removed all of our grouping symbols, and the only thing left to do now is just combine our like terms. Okay, so we have an a and an a gives us 2a. 2a minus a gives us 1a. So we're going to have a. So I've already dealt with that one. I've dealt with that one, and I've dealt with that negative a there, right? Negative 5b minus 3b is negative 8b. All right, let's look for the next. So negative 8b plus 2b, negative 6b. So we've dealt with that one, we've dealt with that one, and we've dealt with that one. All right, then we have 2c plus 1c plus 1c. So that's 2c, that gives, plus c gives us 3c, plus c again gives us 4c. Now, I did not work that one out. I want to check and see if I actually got this one right. So this was number 8. Yep, that's it. It's easy to make. It's easy with all this to make little mistakes, okay? If you need to go back and watch how we did this one more time, then go ahead and do it, okay? If you didn't get it the first time, maybe watch it a second or a third or a 12th or a 52nd time, okay? I'm sure that's exactly what you want to be doing right now, right? Amen? All right, let's actually just have some fun and just work this one upside down. Just kidding. How about we just flip the paper right side up? Okay, last example here in this lesson, and then we'll call it quits for the day, at least for Algebra 1, the Algebra 1 lesson. All right, so this is number 13, and I forgot to write the rest of the problem. So let me write the rest of the problem. So given that all this, and then it says simplify. Simplify, all right, so it's going to be Q minus R plus S minus T. Okay, so you know what you need to do here, right? Yeah, you're going to substitute. So we're just going to rewrite this whole expression here. So this is not an equation, actually. It's just an expression. Equations have equal signs. So there's no equation here. We're just simplifying an expression. Okay, so we're gonna substitute for Q. We're gonna substitute 7m plus 3n, and it tells me minus. Okay, now R is 11 minus 2m. Okay, and then plus, see, plus S. So let's go ahead and group that. Okay, plus n plus 5. Okay, minus, we're going to go ahead and group this one as well, and let's go ahead and group this one as well. Okay, so we're going to use grouping symbols around each expression. Okay, all right, and then our last one was T, which is negative m minus 3n plus 8. Okay, All right, so all we did, so if you look at that, this is Q. All of this is Q. All right, and then it's telling us that we're gonna, from Q, we're gonna subtract. So I just brought that subtraction sign down. Then I've got my grouping symbol here. Now R, here's R right here. See that? And then this is S. It's an S, not a 5. S. Okay. And then the problem is having me subtract again, so I just brought that subtraction sign down. All right, and then it's telling me that I'm subtracting T, so this is all this is T. Okay, do you see what we're doing here? And we're just putting grouping symbols around each expression. So now we're going to do what we've been doing. How do we remove the grouping symbols? Well, we distribute. So we're distributing a 1 here, so this just becomes 7m plus 3n. All right, now check it out. I'm not getting rid of this bracket yet. First of all, I'm going to distribute. I want to get rid of the parentheses first, right? So that's going to be 11 minus 2m, and then we have a 1 here, all right? And that's not going to change anything either, so it's plus n plus 5 minus, okay? All right, now look. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this, and so I take a -1 times -m gives me positive m. -1 times -3n gives me positive 3n. And -1 times positive 8 gives me -8. Okay, so what else do we need to remove? We need to remove these brackets here, right? So it's going to give us, I want to bring everything else down. So we've got 7m plus 3n. All right, we haven't, okay, we're not really messing with these right now. We're focused on this. So this is going to be, we're going to distribute this -1 here, right? So it's -11, positive 2m, -n, and -5 plus m plus 3n minus 8. Okay, now we've removed all of our grouping symbols, right? So now we can combine like terms. So we've got our m terms. We've got 7m and a positive 2m gives us 9m. 9m plus 1m gives us 10m. And that's all of our m terms. So we have 10m. So I'll go ahead and cross out all of my m terms. How about our n terms? We have 3n minus 1n. So that gives us 2n. So 2n plus 3n, right? Let's do it again. So 3n minus 1n gives us 2n. 2n plus 3n gives us 5n. So we've combined all of our n's. Okay, now we're just left with, okay, -11 minus 5. -11 minus 5 is -16. -16 minus 8 is -24. And there's our simplified answer. And let me check it to make sure I didn't make any little mistakes. So it should be, yep, I got it. All right. Okay, so those are the examples for this lesson. Do your best. Ha! Surprised you there. Wow, that was a lot closer zoomed in than I thought it was going to be. You just got an up close look on my forehead. I am so sorry about that. Well, it's been real, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.